besides the recording itself, I will send you also the presentation itself, so you can go over it again and look at it whenever you like and needs to review what we've talked about. Okay, so hello everybody. Just tell me if you all hear me well. Do you hear me well? Guys,
Yes.
you hear? Okay, and I see somebody, yes. Okay, everybody say that. With your permission, I will mute everybody. I will mute all of you in order to you know, sometimes there is noise and interferences. So now it's all yes. By the way, who are you can write to me during this presentation. If you have any question, you can stop me at any time if something is not clear, and I will answer your questions, and I will repeat what is not clear. Okay, so hello everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depends where you are. In Jerusalem now it is evening, and in Hebrew we say Erev Tov for good evening. So Erev Tov, everybody. Welcome to the Rosler's flagship access control panel, the AC-825 session. This session is session number 2, which is a continuation of the Rosler's main access control panels part 1. This is part 2. By the way, who are among you took part and participated in part number 1? Are there guys from here that participated in part 1? Okay. Yes, I was in part. Yes. Okay. Great. I see for at least 3 of you. Okay, that's nice. For those who weren't, I will say a few words about the controller that we talked last time. Okay. So now we will go on. Okay. So for those of you who still don't know me, my name is Giora. I'm a pre-sales engineer at Rosler Security Products. And as I said in the first session, you may call me Gigi. It is my nickname at the neighborhood since childhood, and I like this name very much. And it will also make it easier for you. Instead of saying Giora, Gigi is much easier. And thank you for joining me on this session. I will present you now in this session the Rosler's flagship access control panel, the AC-825, and its expansion modules. In the previous session, in part number 1, we focused on our 3 legacy panels. We say that we have 4 main panels in Rosler, and we talked last time about the 3 legacy panels, which are the AC-215, the AC-225, and the AC-425. We talked about the AC-215, which is a 2 doors out of the box panel, unexpandable. You can't expand it. If you want to upsell a customer, you're going to have a difficulty with the 215. For that, you will need the 225, which is still 2 doors out of the box, 2 doors panel, but it is expandable. You can use the MDDO2 expansion module that provides additional 2 regain reader ports, additional 2 doors, and you can go up from 2 doors to 4 doors. And we talked about the AC-425, the 4 doors out of the box panel that have 4 doors, but also it is an expandable panel. using the MDDO4 that brings us another 4 doors, and together we'll have 8 doors. We talked about the expansions models. We also have the MDIO84, which are the MDIO84 is an expansion module that provides additional inputs and outputs. It consists of 8 inputs and 4 outputs. And we say that all our controllers come in the enclosure, but you have the DNL option as well. And we saw here the panel itself for DNL mount. And now in this session, this is what we talked about last time. But in this session, we're going to talk about our big panel, the AC-825 here in this red frame. It is our flagship controller, a workhorse panel that is fully expandable. We'll talk about the expandability aspect of it. We will see during this session, I will introduce the product to you and its expansion modules, and we will dive into the details and product functionality. Okay, so let's run now through the AC-825 panel and its expansion modules. And here is a picture of the AC-825 and its 4 expansion modules. The AC-825 is our big panel. It is the panel that is going to take you towards the enterprise level. It is a 6 doors out of the box panel, 4 Weekend and 2 OSDP, and it is expandable to 10 doors when adding and installing the D805 expansion module that will add to the AC-825 another 4 doors and will take it up to 10 doors. Just a minute, another one is trying to join us. I admitted him. Okay. So you just mount the D805, you see it here, that brings additional 4 doors. You just mount the D805 daughter boards expansion board directly on top of the motherboard of the AC-825 as a piggy bag here, and you've got up to 10 doors out of the box. We will see in the upcoming slides that the AC-825 can expand far beyond that using an OSDP protocol over RS-485 bus, adding up to 12 expansion modules over the RS-485 bus. And that is besides the one expansion board that we just mentioned that can be installed and can be mounted on the AC-825 motherboard as a piggy bag. Altogether, we have 13 expansion boards available. All these 13 expansion boards can take the AC-825 totally up to 56 doors, and with the 2 OSDP readers that we have on board, it can even reach up to 58 doors, which is really a lot for one control panel, for one motherboard. This is the place to mention that we also support the OSDP V2 secured channel mode with 128 AES encryption keys in the communication between the reader and the access control panel. And we can also implement 6 OSDP reader ports with the AC-825 control panel over the RS-485 bus. And we can also have the OSDP V2 secure channel in the communication between the AC-825 and all its expansion modules over the RS-485 bus. This happens when using our new access control management system version 28, meaning using or upgrading to Axtrax Pro access control management system. And as a side note, I will tell you that we also have in 2 weeks a webinar and new sessions about our new access control management system, the Axtrax Pro, and all its new features. And again, all our controllers come in the enclosure, but you have the DIN-rail option as well. So you can order just the board alone and mount it by itself on a DIN-rail. And also here, as in the legacy panels, the AC-825 is a wiring diagram right on the inside of the cabinet door here. So it makes it very nice and easy for wiring. And keep in mind that also the AC-825 cabinet, like all our B series cabinets, got the illumination bar built in up across the top of the cabinet here. And remember that the illumination bar is actually on a cable. So you can remove it and use it like a stick, like a bar, a flashlight bar, to be able to see what all is going in the cabinet. So even if you're in a dark IT closet, it is very easy to read the wiring diagram on the door thanks to the light coming from the illumination bar. And now in the upcoming slides, I will drill down a little bit more about the AC-825 access controller and its expansion modules. So like we said, the AC-825 is our large panel, our big panel, and it is expandable. It has a very neat way of expanding. We will talk about the expandability aspect of it in the next slide. You can have up to 100,000 users on the AC-825 and up to 500,000 events logged. Like we said before, it has 6 doors out of the box, 4 using Wigan readers and 2 using OSDP readers. And that is in the standard mode. In the OSDP mode, you can have all the 6 readers as OSDP readers. These 6 doors are with 2 inputs and 1 output for each door. That makes it 12 inputs and 6 outputs in total. And we have up to 2 amps at 13.8 volts DC available to power your locks, supplied from the 4 amps power supply. Here you can see here the power supply here for the 4 amp power supply that provides the DC to the panel and the readers. So keep that in mind. And I want to remind you what we said when we talked about the legacy panels, that all our panels have onboard lock power. We can do up to 2 amps of lock power out of any one of our cabinets. So that is a very nice advantage. You know, when we gave the example of 1,200-pound maglock at peaks, that is drawing about half amp. So to do a strike or to do a 1,200-pound maglock right out of the panel itself saves you on cost, on your upfront equipment cost, and allows you to be more competitive in your bids. This panel is connected to the Axtrax Pro server, which is our management server, over TCP IP, and it is AS256 bits encrypted. And we use bidirectional push communication between the panel and the server for enhanced data transmission. The AC-825 has 4 types of expansion modules. As we said, it has a very neat way of expanding. One nice thing about the AC-825 is the expandability aspect of it that actually reduces your cost compared to the competition. And I will explain that to you here in a minute. As I noted before, we have 4 different types of expansions with the AC-825. We have the R805 that provides additional 16 outputs. We have the S805 that provides additional 16 inputs. The D805 that provides additional 4 doors, meaning 4 Wigan reader ports, and also 8 inputs and 4 outputs. And last, we have the P805 that provides additional 16 inputs and 8 outputs. As we said, one expansion board can be mounted directly on top of the motherboard of the AC-825 as a piggy bank. And up to 12 additional expansion modules with any combination of R, S, D, and P can be installed using OSDP protocol over RS-485 bus. That means that you don't have to install your expansion board there at the controller side. You can have the expansion boards spread on the RS-485 bus throughout the facility as long as you don't exceed the 3,000 feet. It is about 1,000 meters, 1 kilometer. So utilizing these 13 expansion boards plus the 4 onboard Wigan reader ports, you can reach up to 56 doors. And remember that 2 OSDP readers are also available on the RS485 bus with the AC-825. And that can bring you up to 58 doors, which are really a lot of doors for one motherboard, one control panel. And as we are talking about the expansions, the things to remember here is what we see in the picture. This is the ME 1515, this box. This is a 2 expansion cabinet. This is the first expansion, and this is the second expansion module. So with the RS485, you are going to connect them to the panel, and we have a very nice diagram that really explains this simply as how to add this expansions cabinet. And this is the reason why I was talking about the fact that your cost is actually going down relatively as the system grows versus the competition. Because once you buy the AC-825 and you add the ME 1515, and then you add the appropriate expansion boards, you can expand it to 8 doors, to 16 doors, to 24 doors and up. But the thing is that you don't need to buy another motherboard, another access control panel. If you want to grow to a very large system, you just add expansion boards as needed. And this is much cheaper than buying another motherboard or more. It saves you a lot on costs. If you take this, for instance, and compare it to other vendors, if you take their controller beyond its max 8 doors capacity, you have to add yet another motherboard. Well, that is a very cost-prohibitive way of doing things. While with us, with Rossler, you just simply add expansion boards and bring the system up to 56, 58 doors. This way, the cost is less than half if you compare it to a case in which you have to buy some other motherboards. And that is what makes our AC-825 a very affordable solution. What also makes this a very affordable solution is, once again, the fact that each one of these panels has the low power built in, and you don't have to buy and rely on other equipment, and that also saves you on costs. Okay, here we go. So here is an AC-825. If you look at the upper right side of the slide, you can see an AC-825 here, and then you can see 2 ME 1515 next to it. Actually, you are looking at 84 door solution right now, and see how simple it is. Just by this setup right here, we easily got a solution for 84 doors for a lot less money than it would be if you would implement it with a non-expandable system that would need much more motherboards. With our system, you are cutting your cost, and as the system grows, your cost relatively goes down. And here is an implementation of top facility with DIN rail mount. You can take a look on the left side of the picture here. Those are our expansion modules, our expansion boards on a DIN rail. And on the top right of the picture here, you can see our AC-825 board. That's the board alone, without the enclosure. This solution here is a good example of utilizing the DIN rail opportunity and buying only the PCB versus buying the cabinet itself. Elevator control. The AC-825 is the panel you're going to be using if you're going into the elevator control business. With the elevator control feature, you can control access to individual doors. You can determine who can go to which floor and when. It is just like it's using regular access groups. Those access groups in the panel in which you control who can go where and when. In the same way, you built, in addition to your regular access group, separate access groups to control who can go to which floor and when. You know, the user swipes his card at the reader here, the reader that is installed in the elevator, and according to his ID, the elevator control knows to what floors he is allowed. elevator control is limited only by the hardware, meaning how many outputs you have available on which panel, because every output is connected to specific floor. But with an AC-825, that becomes almost unlimited as far as the number of floors, as every floor needs one output. And with the AC-825 and all its expansion modules, especially the R805 that you see here, you can reach hundreds of outputs. You will see that the R805 here, you will see that the R805 expansion module here that provides additional 16 outputs is going to be your expansion you will use for elevators. And one can be mounted as a piggy bag, and the rest of the R805s can be spread over the RS485 bus. We can have up to 12 R805s on the RS485 bus. So it is really a lot of outputs. But you have to understand that, first of all, you do need to put one AC-825 per elevator with that R805, or for at least one R805. You've got to have a controller, an AC-825 per elevator. You can't use one AC-825, one controller for two elevators. You've got to have a controller per elevator, and then you can use as many R805s as you need, but only for that elevator. So if you've got, for example, 32 floors that you are trying to control, you need one AC-825 and two R805s, as every R805 gives you 16 outputs. And with the two of them, you've got 32 outputs in total. But if you've got 4 elevators with 32 floors each, you would need 4 AC-825s, one AC-825 for each elevator, and each AC-825 with 2 R805s for 32 floors. Keeping in mind also that the panel does not have to be just for your elevator control. You can still utilize the doors on the AC-825 as well, because as we said, for the elevator, we need just one reader, but we have 6 readers in this panel. So we have additional 4 readers that we can use for other doors. So if you have an AC-825 for elevator control, you can use those other reader ports to control other doors that are within reach. So that way they are not totally wasted. But remember, you can't have multiple elevators controlled off a single panel. It is just the way the software works. And as a summary, ending the controller's part, the controller's sessions, I will run you shortly. Andrew is entering just a minute. I will run you shortly through our 4 main access control panels again, using this comparison table. So as we saw in our sessions about Roessler's access control panels, we have 4 main controllers with Roessler. We have the AC-215, here, this column, which is a 2 doors out of the box panel. It is not expandable, so keep that in mind. If you are looking to upsell a customer, you're going to have a difficulty with the 215, so remember that. But you can, the 215 is an IP panel. It is networkable. So if you want to expand your system with with many AC-215, you can just connect them on a network, on a TCP/IP network, and then you can control many other doors. The AC-825, the AC-215 is a 2 doors out of the box panel. It has a capacity of 30,000 users, unlimited access groups, and events up to 20,000. But once again, maximum readers are 2. The next panel app is very popular and is a good seller. It is the AC-225. Here, this column. This is a great panel. It is still 2 doors out of the box, but you can simply add a daughter board, an expansion board to it, the MDDO2, that provides additional 2 doors, here the MDDO2, and you're taking it up to 4 doors. Once again, like the 215, it is 30,000 max number of users, unlimited access groups, and 20,000 events. And you can take it up to 4 doors versus the 2 doors. The next panel is a big seller as well. It is the AC-825. Here, this column. A 4 doors out of the box panel, similar to the former 2 panels as far as users and events. The nice things about the AC-825 is that you can indeed take it up to 8 doors by simply installing the MDDO4, the MDDO4 expansion board, or you will install it on the motherboard and bring it up to 8 doors. By the way, all these controllers are IP panels. They are networkable. And finally, the panel that is probably our most popular and is probably a #1 seller, it is what we call a workhorse panel and our biggest panel, which is fully expandable, the AC-825 that we talked about in this session, here, this column. So I will summarize that the AC-825 has on board 4 Wigan reader ports with additional 2 OSDP readers in the standard mode, and we have in that way 6 readers, and we also have the OSDP mode in which we can implement 6 OSDP readers with the AC-825. We can take it beyond the 6 doors out of the box by adding a D805, by adding a D805 expansion module, which provides additional 4 doors. And with this, you can take it up to 10 doors out of the box. And keep in mind that by adding 13 expansion boards, the AC-825 can reach up to 56 doors, but we have additional 2 OSDP readers, so it can reach up to 58 doors, which is a lot of doors for one motherboard. The things to remember with the AC-825 is that you can have up to 100,000 number of users, unlimited number of access groups, and 500,000 events. Okay, that's it. Thank you for being with me. If there is any question about what we have covered so far, you're welcome to ask me now. So are there any questions? Guys, do you have any question?
Are you going to do anything on the new Extrax Pro?
Can you repeat what about the Extrax Pro?
Are you going to do any kind of webinar or Zoom?
Yes. We have a webinar. I can send you, but we have a webinar on the 22nd of November. Yes, I can send you the registration link, so you can join it, and we'll understand what are the new features that the Extrax Pro brings with it if you compare it to our old access control management system, the Extrax NG. So write it down in front of you, and I will also send you the registration link. Are there any other questions? Okay, so I see that there are no questions. So you can see here in this slide my contact information. You have my email, but now you can see my phone. So you can so if you have any question or information needed, you are more than welcome to contact me by mail or by phone. So I wish you a great day. And see you in our next session. Okay, bye everybody. Bye everybody.